Are they people?
No.
This movie feels so exciting to me. Not just the aliens, not just the secrecy, not the fact that Spielberg can still turn a flashlight, a field, a sky, or a terrified face into something cinematic enough to make half the industry look lazy. What excites me is that Disclosure Day already feels like the kind of blockbuster only Spielberg can make when he is fully locked into mystery, emotion, and spectacle at the same time. And honestly, that is why I think people may be underestimating just how dangerous this movie could be. Universal is treating it like a real summer event, and the official Loglini is basically bait for anyone who has ever looked at the sky and felt that weird little chill of possibility. If someone proved to you that we were not alone, would that frighten you? This summer, the truth belongs to 7 billion people. We are coming close to Disclosure Day. That is a hell of a sales pitch. But I think the real hook is deeper than that. Because Spielberg has always understood that the best science fiction is not really about technology, creatures, or even contact. It is about what discovery does to people. That is why Close Encounters of the Third Kind still works. That is why E.T. still works. That is even why War of the Worlds hits as hard as it does when it is at its best. The event matters, yes, but the emotional fallout matters more. Disclosure Day looks like it knows that instinctively. It does not seem interested in aliens as spectacle alone. It seems interested in what happens when proof breaks the emotional stability of the world. That is where Spielberg gets lethal. And that is why I do not think this movie is going to be just another slick UFO thriller with good production value. The trailer makes that clear almost immediately. Josh O'Connor's character is not just running around with a theory. He seems to have stolen something real, something dangerous, something powerful enough to shake the public order. Emily Blunt's TV meteorologist is suddenly used like a vessel, almost like a channel, her voice and body becoming part of a message bigger than her. Eve Hewson appears tied to O'Connor's side of the mystery, trying to decode or survive it. And then there is Colin Firth, who does not seem to be playing a normal authority figure at all. He feels more like an emissary, a projection, maybe even a bridge between worlds. The film is not just teasing contact, it is teasing psychological contamination. That is a much more interesting movie. And it gets even more interesting when you think about Spielberg's relationship with David Koepp. Koepp is one of those writers whose filmography can jump from brilliant to messy without warning. But his collaborations with Spielberg have always had a certain muscular clarity. Jurassic Park, The Lost World, War of the Worlds, even when those films divide people, they move. They know how to build momentum around extraordinary threat. And because Disclosure Day comes from a Spielberg story, that suggests this is not just another job handed off to a reliable screenwriter. This may actually be coming from a more personal creative impulse than some people expect. That matters, because when Spielberg originates the story himself, there is usually a reason. There is usually some emotional or thematic itch he wants to scratch beyond simply directing a strong script. And the fact that he is returning to UFO-driven science fiction at this stage in his career makes that even more compelling. One of the things I like most about the trailer is that it does not feel ashamed of genre iconography. Crop circle style patterns, strange animals, strange language, people staring up at impossible light, government pursuit, a suspiciously inhuman man in a chair connected to some kind of machine, all of it is there. Lesser filmmakers might worry those details feel too familiar. Spielberg seems to understand the opposite. Familiarity is not the problem. Flatness is the problem. If you can take these iconic science fiction textures and shoot them with conviction, rhythm, scale, and emotional force, they become alive again. That is what I see here. And it is why the comparisons to Close Encounters are not going away. Some of that is obvious. Spielberg, UFOs, wonder, fear, mystery. But some of it is visual too. The latest trailer's image of a craft moving through the clouds absolutely stirred that comparison for a reason. The question is whether that means Disclosure Day is secretly connected to Close Encounters in any literal way. Maybe, maybe not. Personally, I think people may be getting too hung up on the secret sequel angle when the more exciting possibility is simpler. Spielberg may just be revisiting some of the most important ideas of his sci-fi career with all the experience, control, and unease of an older filmmaker. That could be even better than a direct connection. Because the truth is, Spielberg returning to this territory now is not the same as Spielberg returning to it in 1977 or 1982. The world is different. Audiences are different. Public discourse around UFOs, disclosure, and government secrecy is very different. Even if the movie is not directly tied to current events in an explicit way, it is arriving into a culture that has already been primed by years of real-world headlines, hearings, documentaries, and online obsession. That changes the energy of a movie like this. It gives the title Disclosure Day a charge that goes far beyond simple marketing. It sounds like a movie title, yes, but it also sounds like a deadline. That is smart. And it makes the movie feel bigger than a simple alien invasion thriller. The cast helps a lot too. Emily Blunt can carry controlled panic better than almost anyone. Josh O'Connor has that weary, uneasy intensity that makes secrecy look physical. Colin Firth feels like a genius piece of casting if he is really playing some kind of unnerving intermediary rather than a standard human authority. Hewson, Colman Domingo, and Wyatt Russell give the ensemble enough texture that the movie can expand without feeling thin. Even the smaller names and odd appearances make the whole thing feel like one of those strange Spielberg mosaics where the world keeps opening wider than you expected. And that is really what I want from Disclosure Day. Not just answers, expansion, mystery growing instead of shrinking. A blockbuster that remembers spectacle is not only about scale, but about the emotional violence of revelation. So where do I land on all of this? I think Disclosure Day has the potential to become exactly the kind of summer movie we do not get enough of anymore, a true Spielberg event. So now I want to know what you think. Does Disclosure Day look like Spielberg revisiting the same emotional terrain that made his old sci-fi classics unforgettable? Or do you think it's shaping up to be something stranger and darker than that? Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts in the comments. This is where these kinds of films come to life. Until the next story, stay curious, be critical, keep your eyes on the screen. And remember, every film you haven't seen is a new film.